Hello, welcome to the Save Our Children podcast. We're your hosts, Becky and Bridget. If you've listened to episode 39 with Space Force, then the name Topher is not a new one to you. We're bringing all the guys from Space Force back to chat with us one-on-one about their personal stories and how their life has influenced their careers. Topher is an Air Force veteran from Mississippi who has been writing and performing for most of his life. Over the past few years, he's taken to TikTok to showcase his work and speak about his conservative beliefs. There's a line on his website that I love and had to quote for this intro. Topher uses politics as a platform to eradicate the traditional paradigm of biased information and rumors. A natural leader, he seeks to make amends to failing political systems, thereby bringing stability to the people. I love that you use your billboard topping platform as a way to discuss all things happening in this world. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you briefly discussed your history in the last episode we did together, but for those who haven't heard, can you please give our listeners a little bit more about your background?
Absolutely. Like you said, I grew up in Mississippi, to be more specific, Kilmichael, Mississippi. For those who may not know, B.B. King also was raised in Kilmichael, Mississippi. And just the town over, we had the women suffragist and civil rights leader, Fannie Lou Hamer. So it's some historical figures from the small town I'm from. And I'm just happy to be a part of that number now. And I grew up in a home that was, full of poverty and domestic abuse and those type of things. So I understand what people go through, or at least a lot of people in America, across the world. And that's why I speak up, because a lot of times people get into those situations based on the decisions they made, based on the decisions they made. And I'm just here to give them better decisions and alternative choices to that lifestyle that's going to lead them down a more righteous path, if we say. And I'm married. I have 2 daughters. I have a beautiful wife, and they're the real inspiration behind why I chosen to speak up now. I don't want my daughters to look back 10, 15 years from now and be like, Daddy, what was you doing when the country was going down the toilet? I say, no, I don't want to be like I was playing Call of Duty. I want to say, well, I was out there, making music, trying to help change culture, having those tough conversations people are afraid to have, and speaking out and standing up for what I believe in. That way they can inspire the next generation as well. So, that's kind of where I'm at.
I love that, especially because I know even everything that you've shared in using your voice in your platform, you've become a powerful voice for the voiceless, and you've inspired global change and shifting the culture. So going off of that, and in your bio, you credit your musical aptitude to your father. If we can go into little Willie the farmer, and can you share a little bit of his background and how it's influenced your music and you as a man and even a father today?
Well, it was more of not his presence that made me who I am today, that made me understand the importance of having a father there in the household, and having that committed father figure or leader in your family. Mm-hmm. My dad is I won't say regionally known. He's starting to now travel. He's in his 60s now. Sometimes it takes a while for that dream to
it comes at any age.
At any age. And the only thing you're responsible for is continuing to pursue it. And I'm glad to see it happen for him, especially when it's time for him to have a career change. But he was a mechanic, and on the side, he did music. As far as influencing me, he was the father that called on the birthdays, and came and gave me $20 here and there, just because I was born outside of, my mom was, as they call, the side chick. And so he wasn't able to be with us or around us. And to this day, we've reconciled that, and I don't hold it against him, because I understand life happens. We make decisions, and all you can really do is do the best with what you could. And he has never treated me any different. Nonetheless, he hasn't been a father that was like, I don't know this cat, or I don't want to be around him. He's always want to be involved in everything I've done. So I contribute a lot of my music to him because he started when he was a kid, you know, playing the guitar and singing and everything. So I don't know who else I get it from.
Yeah,
Well, God had a plan for you. That's why you had to show up. So
well, and I think
Absolutely.
too, it's interesting because I read that he was a veteran himself, and then you even if we can go into your journey and you at your age being so young and turning to the Air Force and what that looked like as well.
Well, I don't know. There must have been some type of tabloid. To my knowledge, my dad did not serve.
Oh,
Yeah, he didn't serve. My granddad did though.
oh,
got it.
Yeah, my grandfather served. I think it was Vietnam. Where he went, but not quite sure. So don't quote me on it. I once again, by the time I got old enough to learn anything, he had passed away. So, but as far as my time, I decided to join while I was still in college, and that was because uh, I was just going to college, doing nothing, you know, just building debt because I sure wasn't going to class. You know, it's just I wasn't. And I learned that it was not because, excuse me, I couldn't keep up with the material. It's just that with my ADHD and the way I learn, I pick up things fast. It's better for me to drink from a water hose, if you understand what I mean,
okay. Yep.
than for me to sit there and just sip on it. Because
Yep.
the longer it takes me to drink it, the more bored I get with it, and then eventually I lose interest. And there's nothing you can do to bring that back except start a whole new class. So the 9-week semesters just didn't work for me. I mean, what is it, 16 weeks? Yeah, 16 weeks. Or however it is, 18 in
And
college.
whatever it is, this is
Yeah, for the
too,
the half
too,
a year semesters, whatever those
yeah,
are.
too long.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Too
Too
long.
long. And so I was like, I gotta join the military or do something that's gonna give me some type of discipline, and give me some type of foundation, because I was getting serious with my wife, but then girlfriend at the time, and I wanted to provide, you know, just do my fatherly duties or husband duties.
Yeah.
And so I joined the military. I did not know I was going to become a linguist. I will throw that there. I have a speech impediment that I fight with all the time. And I knew that if I barely could speak English, how in the heck am I going to learn a whole nother language
Right.
with a whole different alphabet? But I to my surprise, I did not struggle. Matter of fact, I was the top of my class in Hebrew, which is crazy. And
Wow.
so that's when I started to see how God works. It's like, look, man, I'm gonna take your I won't say disability, whatever is challenging you, right? I'm gonna take whatever is that's challenging you and turn that into what's gonna get you to where I want you to be in life. That way you won't forget who got you there, right? Because imagine me with a speech impediment that can't put out words, but now I'm rapping. You
Right.
wouldn't expect me to do something with my voice.
Right.
So I've always given him credit for that, and especially on this journey I'm taking now.
And I want to touch back to even on your service. Again, thank you for your service and going into the message and inspiration behind the music with I Left My Home with MJ Hanks and TMR. Can we just even touch on the success of that? Even sharing like what the movie A Journal for Jordan and that whole experience with your music even being in the movie theater and you going against the culture but also shifting the culture and making it known like, hey, we can as independent artists have a voice and make it to the top of the charts.
Absolutely. Once again, never expected this. When I was a kid and I dreamed of being an artist, I dreamed of the typical idea, right? Is to get a lot of attention, get signed to a major label, get this bonus and everything else that come with it, the fanfare, and that's just not what happened. You know, God had a different route for me, which ultimately has made me a better artist in my eyes because I'm able to help people more, collab when I want to collab, or release when I want to release. I was just reading a tweet from Meek Mill. Don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's a big major artist. But he was just talking about how he can't release his album because in his contract, it has to be at least 9 months between, right? It's like, man, if I want to put out music that I think is urgent about current events, and I want to get it out now, I don't want to have to wait. So I'm thankful for the path I'm on now as far as that. But I left my home started with TikTok. Unfortunately, I have 2 songs. The Patriot actually blew up on TikTok first before I released it. And then I left my home blew up as well. Matter of fact, I left my home blew up on TikTok and Facebook. I think Facebook has 5, 6, 7 million views.
Wow.
I can't remember.
That's hard to do on Facebook, especially with censorship. That's hard.
Yeah, I didn't even know it. You know how I found out? Because I usually just randomly, automatically post stuff to my Facebook from my Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't paying no attention. I went on my Facebook, I think 3 days, 4 days later, and I had like 4,000 new followers or something crazy like that. And I was like, what the heck happened?
What's going on?
So I went back and looked, and it was like, oh yeah, this video has so many million views. I'm like, yo, this is insane. So yeah, it was MJ Hanks went viral first, and then me and a Ream rapper found out about it, and we want to tag along. And I told him, and we discussed that it was not gonna be a political song. It's just gonna be about the military, you know. And I was able to really tell my story because I like, no cap, I called my mom and said, hey, I called up my mom and said, I gotta go, right? So I called up, and to my surprise, because she was very anti military or draft, anything, she did not want her kids to go.
Yeah.
And when I called her, she was cool with it. Like, you know how you call somebody dreading this call?
Yeah, you're like, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad. And then you
call them, and then they do the complete opposite, and you just like, what my mom at? Like, you must be an imposter.
Right, because I spent the last week thinking about my conversation, and I have no speaking points. Like, what the heck?
I was done. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was rehearsing it. I was gonna give her. I had the bullet points of the importance of me going, and that was not necessary. And then she tells me, well, your sisters, and this is how God works, your sisters have been telling me that it would be a good idea for you to join. I have not even told them about joining the military, but my sisters were already had it on their hearts, and it was already priming my mama for the idea of me going to the military. And I was like,
gives me chills.
I'm like, wow, that's how God works. It's like, wow. So anyway, I ended up getting the message, the email from, you know, Sony saying that they was going to use our song because Michael B. Jordan ended up singing a part of it during a scene when he was holding his baby. And it was crazy because I didn't think they would give us credit for him just singing it.
Yeah.
You know, especially with a major label like that, I figured they were just like, whatever, these guys ain't gonna do nothing, right?
Yeah, they'll sue you the other way. If you so much as hum their music, they'll sue you. But yeah, you're right. I'm surprised they didn't give you credit. Good for them.
Yeah, because they didn't play the song, he just sung it. And I was like, wow, that's even more amazing, because I think once again, I think it's just God working. And just to see how I've always wanted my name in the credits. And me and my family have this joke because for some reason there's a Christopher Townsend in every Marvel movie at the end. And we used to be like, yeah, it's gonna be your name one day. And I said, and then eventually when I left my home, my name at the end of the credits, I'm like, yes,
there it is.
I finally done what most artists dream of doing, you know, besides getting a #1 billboard, getting your song licensed or synced to a movie. It's just been glorious and a great experience, you know, and I'm hoping to help many more artists, independent artists, not just conservative, but people that really want to learn the music business to be able to do more on, you know, as far as getting this stuff out there.
Well, that's what I really love. You touched on it earlier, was that you don't have to wait a certain amount of time. So now you had just posted just a couple days ago, just watching all of the stuff happening in Canada and how they're putting it to your music, and you're having all this stuff. And I know TMR put that new song out, but with all of the Freedom Convoy stuff, if you had to wait 9 months, that would be so far forgotten. It wouldn't even matter. Now you have nothing that is current and makes sense. And so I love the idea of you guys in the independent space. Just, you know what, here's what's happening this week. By next week, I have something put out, and we can play with it and people can join and sing on.
Absolutely. And then some people will say, I know I saw someone try to say that because we do have timely music, I would say, it's like we're chasing these type of things. I'm like, no, It's just that if this is what we already talk about, and we have an opportunity while everyone's paying attention to get some information out there, or to speak on a subject from a different perspective, or to show support, then we're gonna do it. Who wouldn't? It's just music happens to be our medium, you know. Just like you guys have the podcast, this is your medium. Some other people have, poetry or just art or whatever. This is my medium. So when I see something that's important, I think that I should be supporting, and I can just run to the studio, which I'm at right now, and just lay down something real quick. And once again, I've felt, and it's been a conservative on TikTok before the conservative movement blew to where it is now. We got albums on albums. It was kind of lonely, right? You felt like you was the only person that kind of had some rationale and thought that way.
True.
Yeah.
Because you just didn't have that type of representation within culture or any type, form, fashion, whatever. And so you just kind of stayed quiet, or you was very timid. But when you found out there was others like you and you weren't alone, then you got a little bit more confident. And that's kind of what our music and what we've been able to do by stepping up and standing on what we believe is, I'm not alone. I am not crazy. And there are some people out here who can believe what I believe, be culturally relevant and important,
Yeah. I was on our podcast with D. Kira. I actually had said, I think people often forget that you guys were built for this. And just, I would say too, as we see the culture, and especially in the entertainment industry, they don't own their own name, and they have to go through so much approval to even put something out, where you guys as independent artists, you can speak your voice and you can speak the truth and say whatever you want, and you don't have to play or draw, you don't have a line. You guys can say whatever, and there's censorship, there's trolls that come along with that, but you guys are literally right now, I love it because you're proving to the industry, literally put some respect on independent artist names, because you guys are speaking for the people and for what's right and humanity in general. And even going back to your song, The Patriot, I know oftentimes I see on the social media tags and on TMR's podcast, Alive Every Day, and people talking about how that song in your guys' music has stopped them from suicide and the mental health part of it, which right now we see so much going on in the world with suicide on the rise, that your guys' music, and I'm sure you get tons of messages as well about what that music really is doing for not only the culture, but mental health in general. So thank you for using your platform and your voice, especially even giving us an opportunity to connect with you and giving our podcast a platform as well.
I appreciate it. And like I said, it's just us helping each other out. I don't discredit anybody, no matter where they're starting. It's just about getting started. I wish more people would just start. I'm glad to see more people just run for office. A lot of times we just sit back and complain, but just do. You might not get it right the first time. You might not get it right the second time or third, but just do something. It's better than sitting back and watching everything fail without putting up any type of fight. So, if I can, like I said, as long as I can help encouraging people like that, I'm fine and I'm happy. I go to sleep,
right.
With my sleep apnea, with my mask on, just knowing as much as I can and at peace, because I know that I inspire people, and I was able to speak my mind and have that release. And, not one part of mental health is that most people miss out on is having that type of release. So you can release that frustration or your concerns and stuff like that. And with censorship and things like that, people don't get a chance to do that, out of fear of being counseled, like Joe Rogan's podcast with, other artists. Can you imagine that all you're doing is minding your own business, and here comes somebody else is saying, hey, either you're going to keep their stuff or my stuff? It's like,
and you probably didn't even listen to the freaking episode, you morons.
He didn't. He don't even look like he listened to his own songs anymore. This dude looks every bit of 110.
Yes. Yes. So, and he's probably 53 and lived a hard life.
Yeah. from drugs and everything else.
Right.
And, the mainstream artist, boy. And that's another thing I tell people, as I grew in faith, I always found it conflicting to want to have a song in the club and having to go perform in the club and stuff like that. And to know that my music now doesn't require me to perform in those places to be successful has been just one of the biggest blessings ever. It's like I don't have to perform at 12 at night. I can perform at 8 and call it a day, or 9. I don't have to perform at the club. I can perform outside on the barn. You know what I'm saying? Just something where it's not just stereotypical places for that type of activity. So it's God is funny. I will say that.
Truth.
Too, and like even the family aspect, you can listen to your music with your kids, and I know, and I'm excited for your new song coming out, and there's gospel music. And I know that we heard a sneak peek on your Instagram, but even just knowing that your family can be present and you don't have to change who you are, and you don't have cussing throughout your music. So I know that we appreciate that because our kids can listen to it as well. Oh, it cut you out.
No, muted. There you go.
My bad.
You're good.
Yeah, that's always been the goal with my music, is to reach as many people as possible. And sometimes cussing can be offensive. It's one of those things that's not necessary. Like, truth is truth, but you don't have to. Truth does not have to be told by cussing. So it's like, I can still give you the truth, still show my talent, still give you the lyrical capabilities and flexibility that you love, without having to offend you by cussing or saying certain things. And I want everyone to listen to my music. I don't want to bleep. I laugh because, music on the radio back in the day used to be like 1 or 2 words that was bleeped out. But by the time I was an adult, it was like every other word was bleeped. So it was just like,
I don't music anymore. Okay.
I don't want to be that person. I will say, being young, I did experiment with using those $5 words. And I look back and it just didn't sound good. I don't think I sound good cussing. You know what I'm saying? Some people sound good cussing. I don't sound good cussing. Mine is like, bro, shut up, man. So I said, nah, this ain't for me. And like I said, I'm glad I did, because like I said, y'all kids can listen to it now, and they can play it in classrooms or whatever they want to do, because it lacks that profanity. So I love it.
Well, you'll offend people enough with the truth, so you don't need to offend other people on top of that. But yeah, we've had conversations over the last couple of weeks that it's so nice to find any type of genre, the new genres that are out there in the independent artists, that okay, maybe hip hop's not your thing, or maybe rap isn't your thing, or country isn't your thing, but no matter where your thing is, there are people who are speaking out in this movement, that are speaking about freedom and God and loving the country and loving each other. And we as listeners, we've got to start supporting that. And I think I mentioned this, we were on with Don the other day, and I mentioned it to him, and I said, rap is not like the music. I know it's very surprising that rap is not like the music I listen to, but it is, it's still a thing that I will support. Like, I will go buy the album because it doesn't cost a lot of money, but it is a huge, huge thing to, number one, support you guys because you are amazing people, but also to show the country and show the world, this is what we want to hear. These are this is the type of music we want to hear. These are the beliefs that we have. This is you can silence, you can censor, you can do whatever on social media, but our money speaks. And so again, you look at the labels and all this stuff, and what you guys are saying is, labels, we don't need you anymore. We have all of this on our own. And for parents like us, it's amazing. And it's so good that it's like, you know what? I don't have to worry, boys, about what you're going to listen to, because you are listening to these folks, and I know that they're good, and I know the music is pure.
Absolutely. And whether someone wants to be political with their music or not, if I can encourage them to stop talking about violence all the time, shooting one another, slapping this lady or degrading this woman, drugs and that type of thing. If I can just show them that there's money to be made and success to be had, despite not following the status quo, then once again, it's a victory for me. And that's why I'm showing people. We've seen, because of what we've done and fighting back against cancel culture and not just surviving, but thriving in the midst of it. We've seen more and more artists come out. Now I got some artists now that's going to be on this project, my new project 222, that are not necessarily outspoken, but they're not afraid to work with me because now they've seen that it's possible, and now they can speak on some stuff now because they've been emboldened by what we've done. So we're kind of like the pioneers to this.
Yeah.
And it's scary because we have like this huge responsibility on our shoulders, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting because it's an unknown territory that we're venturing in, and we get to kind of create the map as we see it, right? So it's great.
I think too, though, just enjoying the joy in that journey is beautiful, because like even with us with podcasting, we did not know what we were getting into, and we just kind of were like, okay, we're throwing ourselves into this. And so even looking back from our first episode till now, and we still have work to do, but we're just like, it's interesting to see. But as we often say, is you're creating the culture and shifting it to how you want to see it, what you want the next generation to be able to know, like, especially when it comes to morals and values, and knowing that the culture currently in society makes it seem like you have to sell your soul, or the whole satanic culture. And for especially me as a mom having a daughter, we often do lyric breakdowns all the time. And so she'll say, well, why can't I listen to this song? My friends listen to it, or they do TikToks. And I'm like, and so like on the way to school the other day, actually, it was probably like 2 weeks ago, we played the full song of WAP. And I said, because she was like,
Bridget's that mom.
I'm that mom. But it was because I don't want her to resent me, and I want to give her, she asked me why. And so I said, well, this is the radio's version. And so when I played it and she heard the first cuss word, I said, this is why I don't allow you to listen to it. She's like, that's not the real song. Put the real song on. I said, no, you listen to the edited version on the radio, and this is really the real song. That's why I won't allow you to listen to that. And so we broke down literally lyric for lyric what she was talking about. And she's like, Mom, enough. And I'm like, well, this is what they're like glorifying. And this is my why I don't let you listen to it, because she's always like, you're always that mean mom. Like, why can't I do this? So for me, I'm like, I'm going to explain it to you so you understand. So then I was telling Becky and our friend Emma, and they're like, oh, we're going to have to break this down, because there's so many lyrics that the parents don't even listen to what their kids are listening to. But then when you hear your kids singing it, or like it's stuck in their head, you're like, wait, what did you just say? And then I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to break this down. So I've learned to always be super transparent with my kid and say, this is why we don't use this word. And this is why we're going to like listen to this. And this is why I don't push that music, because of the rape culture and everything being glorified. And so then I started playing even like all your guys's, especially during Christmas, I was playing the Grinch song a lot. And at first she's like, Mom, really again? But then you would catch her singing it. You would catch her singing it throughout the day. And she's like, that song is so catchy. So then it became her new song. So now what she does is she'll come to my room and be like, Mom, can you create me a playlist on Apple Music? And so now she has all your guys' music and everything that I listen to, which at first she was not about it, but she's learned.
I was going to say the very important thing that you did was tell her the why. I know a lot of times when I was growing up, it's just because I said so.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work, because a lot of people just continue that, and we end up not knowing the original reason why the same reason why Black people predominantly vote Democrat. I asked my mom, she's like, it's just what we do. It's like, what is that? Like, that's not a reason, So I'm glad that you broke it down for her to understand, because that's going to help her out when she's around her friends and they try to make fun of her and things like that. Then she has some real tools in her belt to prove, like, okay, nah, I can't, not because my mom's stingy, it's because it's really bull crap,
Yep.
And creating that playlist is awesome. That's why we're doing more and more. And I will say, the more I grew up listening to blues, and I got a lot of songs stuck in my head from my childhood that might not be the best songs, like Johnny Taylor, these last $2, or I don't know if I can put this on here.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
It was this one song I remember singing all the time as a kid, and then I got in trouble for it, like just randomly one day. But the song was called Titty Man. It's a blues song. Look it up.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it just pretty much the hook goes, I'm a titty man. Oh, yes, I am. I'm a titty man. So I used to sing it when I was a kid because it was catchy.
Yeah.
Right? I had no idea. They was playing it, so I assumed that it was okay for us to listen to, right? And then I was just running around singing. My mom, I got in trouble real bad. She's like, stop singing that song. In my head, I'm like, so why are you playing something I can't sing? Why are you playing something that I can't sing? Or why are you participating in it? So I tell, parents, yes, you can tell your kid, when you become an adult, but for the most part, they're going to mimic you and imitate what you do and if what you listen to, those type of things. So if you have a chance to make an impression, make a good one,
And that goes back to what you were saying earlier about standing up for what you believe. And now, again, when we talk about this regularly, like, you don't have to write music. You don't have to start a podcast. You don't have to get your social media censored, but your kids are watching you. And are you doing the right thing? Are you standing up at a school board? Are you even going to school board meetings? Are you standing up at a mandate rally? Are you standing up, like you said, are you going for some political position? What is it that you're doing? Now, we can't all do all the things. And again, the Bible says we are all bodies of Christ. We are all doing our own thing for a reason, to make up the whole body of who we all are as a people. But are you doing what you're called to do? If you have it on your heart that, man, I really would like to, I don't know, be on the school board, or I'd really like to start a rally, or I'd really like to post more about these things I disagree with. Why aren't you? Well, I can tell you why, because someone might look at you wrong. Someone's opinion matters more than what you're called to do. And the biggest thing that I've had over the last 2 years, it is a freeing space to be in when you stop giving a rat's butt about what everybody else thinks about what you're doing. You will find a million more people who agree with you than the few people you think are important right now.
Absolutely. And the sooner I learned that, it was off to the races then,
Yep.
It's like, okay, whatever. now it's like, well, how many can I fit?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I ticked you off. Oh, good. Well, just one of many.
Yeah, it's like, welcome to the snowflake list,
Yeah.
and which is weird, just given the climate. And I'm hoping people don't speak up much about how we get censored because we're conservatives or how they look at us, but it should be concerning to anybody on any side, because at any time they could turn that gun around and aim it at you, and now you getting censored and you can't speak what you believe is right. And then also, so don't just laugh when you see, injustice happening to the other side. As I say, you will get what you deserve if it's deserving, but if it's unjust, then it shouldn't be done that way. So I'm hoping as more people see what's happening to us, like I have my lyrics, not the song, my lyrics for Let's Go Brandon banned. I was like, how? I said, I didn't know they banned lyrics. How did I have my lyrics banned when we don't cuss, don't do nothing, anything else? And I kid you not, F Donald Trump by, what is it, Polo, whatever the guy name is still up.
I bet his lyrics probably are not banned.
Yeah, lyrics are not banned. You can look it up on Genius, everything else, but we put up Let's Go Brandon and it's banned, and it's sad because it could take the opinion of one or two people that just simply can click a button that can really, put you down. And that has made me question a lot more things throughout history and just life, because I know this ain't the first time someone was like, shh,
Yep.
let it happen. It happens. Yep. So it's just more research for me to do, and just to think with an open mind about stuff is like, but it's weird. It's a fight that we fight on a daily. I know Bryson Gray, he just tweeted about his album, like the entire album was banned by Facebook. So you came and used any of the songs off his last album in Instagram Reels, or the stories you used the music with. I was like, it was by Facebook, not by the music distributor or anything else, but by Facebook it was banned. It's like anybody would find any reason to shut us up,
Yeah, even their video getting pulled off of YouTube. Like once DQ put that up, it came down so quick. I know we talked about that, but I think what you said was extremely important, is knowing that it can happen to you. And I know that especially like in our state, when I was going to marches, and I'm very involved in the community, and as I know you are too, giving back to the unsheltered and the community in general. I know that one thing that opened my eyes when being out at the marches in Phoenix, because normally I kind of stay in my area, but when I went to the marches in Phoenix, and we had the military here, and that really opened my eyes, because I didn't know what I was walking into or what to expect other than what the media made it. But once I saw my friends on TV, and them being African American, and they turn them to, oh, well, try to turn them into like the whole BLM organization and try to plaster all these labels on them. And my parents are watching the news, and I'm like, wait, that's my friends. Like, I'm not about to watch this. Like, and so then I would show my parents, like, no, look, I was there. This is really, and I would show my phone. I'd be like, or go live until I got banned. I was like, this is really what's happening. Like, there's so much love and peace in the streets, and people are just here for one another. But to see the military, and I've never seen so much military presence in my life over the last 2 years in our state alone. So to be driving around the highways and seeing the military trucks right next to us, and like all the guns and everything, like literally right there. And people would be like, Bridget, what are you doing? Like, why are you out there? Are you going to get hurt? And I'm like, well, if I do, maybe you would then care. If it happened to me, it shouldn't take that. And if it happened to me, then maybe you would pay attention to what's truly going on in your community. So I would say, like, well, I rather take a stand and know that my kid later down the road in the next generation doesn't have to fight something like this. And so even just looking at that aspect of, it's bigger than us, and so many people have to drop that ego and look around the community and say, how can I help? How can I get involved? And if you see something wrong, don't just watch it. Or oftentimes technology's made it to, oh, let me go viral with this meme, versus like, you mean you could have stopped that person getting beat up on the street or helped that homeless person, but instead you're recording it to go viral. Like, what kind of culture do you want for your kids? So just stepping back and looking at that aspect as well.
Yeah. And speaking on just recording things, I used to be conflicted about recording, giving things to people, right? Bible talks about, if you're going to bless somebody, bless it in secret, and the Lord will bless you in publicly, right?
Yeah.
And one of the guys I was watching on TikTok, his name is Rob Cornelius, and he was saying, actually, no, post the videos of you giving, because all people are seeing are the negative videos, because we're holding back the positive videos, so people don't know that there's some positive things happening, because we want to reserve that according to the Bible. And I don't think And that's what made me think, well, maybe that's not what the scripture specifically meant, as far as like never showing your good stuff and you helping people out. I think it's all about the intentionality of why you did it. Like, don't do it so you will be praised by others and you can get all this admiration. But if you did it out of the fact that you truly wanted to help this person freely, there's nothing wrong with posting that and showing people.
Yeah. I learned that too when volunteering for the Unsheltered Community, and it was just a group of our friends, and literally our downtown Phoenix looks like, it's so sad. We have blocks and blocks of homeless people all over the streets, and it kind of looks like how LA is. And it's sad that in the summer we literally got threatened, and some did go to jail, some did get ticketed, because the state thought it was humane to put, in the summertime in Arizona, it's hot, over 120 degrees, they're sleeping on asphalt. Well, there was no entertainment at all going on in our state because of the pandemic. So they had them sleeping they built chain link fences, used our tax-paying money, built chain link fences around, had off-duty cops, whatever you want to call them, stationed with AKs at the front of it, and they were in chain link fences. They had to check in every night, and that was their shelter. That was the solution to the problem. And they had them sleeping in asphalt. So no different than a parking space that you park in every day, that was that person's home. Their tent could go in there. They weren't providing them water. In the very beginning they were, but then once we shine light on it, a group of our friends shine light on it, and people started filming down there of what it really looked like, then we were threatened, we were harassed, we were attacked, like saying, oh, well, they would, like, I know for me, speaking from experience, one time they told me, if you reach your arm over that fence and give them a cooler of water, then you could get ticketed, you could go to jail. I said, cool, good thing I already prepped my lawyer that I'm down here and they have my location, like I'm not stupid. And so I said, if that's the worst charge in my life, is giving somebody food and water and your basic necessities and treating them like a human, I'll take that charge. Cool, put me in jail. I don't really care. So I think too, like even us shining light on that, it helps the community to see a different aspect. And sadly, all those people then got kicked out of there, and they wasted all that money on there, because then of course the state had to make money and the Phoenix Suns were in playoffs. So they didn't want people traveling or Hollywood coming to Arizona and seeing what was in the heart of Phoenix. So then all those people they took a bulldozer to the street and they just wiped out all their stuff and kicked them out. And so it was just like, and there was no news coverage on it, nothing. But just knowing that that's happening in our community, and people are just like, they're so blind to it. And I think because they don't want to have to, if they see it, they have to get involved and do something. You can't just throw money at it all the time.
Yeah, trust me. The situation with the Black community, if it's anything, it's proven us. You just can't throw money at what's going on to solve those things. And kudos to you and the crew for going out there and standing up. Like you said, giving water. The state gets it. When I say limited government, I think about, like you said, you can't even give out free food. I was having a random conversation with somebody. I was ordering some wings. I'm always, random things, right? Wings. So we was there talking, and I talked about opening a shelter, right? Or the lady was talking about she wanted to open up a shelter. I said, man, it's so political and all the stupid laws that you can't even open one up to help people, because then you'll be held liable for lawsuits on this and this and that. And you can't put it over here because this church has a code or that has a code and this and that. It's like, it's almost designed for you to not help anybody. And that's on purpose. I don't want people to think like that's just, it sucks, but no, it's by design. They don't want you helping people because they want those people to be dependent upon the state. So that's why they have these things. And I was like, no, we should not be doing this. I always tell people, the church, I'm a Christian, we should be taking care of everybody. as much as possible. We should be leading them. Like we should be handling divorces, marriage counseling, mental health. We need to be involved in everything. I mean, the Red Cross was started by, they was Christians. It's like we need doctors, we need hospitals, we need all of it to where we can help influence people. But once again, by design, one of the first places to shut down when it came to the pandemic and everything else, it was the church. And unfortunately, a lot of just followed along. Eventually we got to realize, shout out to people like Pastor Locke, just like, nah, bro, I ain't shutting down my church. It's just ain't happening. Y'all can lock me up. Y'all can say what you want, but
we'll sit in the parking lot if you want. Here we are.
We're gonna have it regardless, and I think that's the type of attitude we gotta have currently right now, because people, they will, as we've seen, take your liberties and laugh at you and make you and turn you into the bad guy.
Yep.
The media will make the oppressed look like the oppressor, and it's crazy how easy they can make that look.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like I was thinking back when Bridget was going to get arrested for giving someone water, which to me just blows my mind in and of itself, how easy it has been for people to say, I was just doing my job. And just doing your job isn't an excuse for being an evil person, for going against the code in which you signed up to do your job. I follow a integrative medicine doctor that put the Hippocratic Oath on her website or on her social media page. And I had never read it. Like, I'm not a doctor. I never had to say it, whatever. I generally understood you will do no harm, blah, blah, blah. And I was reading it. And I was like, this is really what doctors have to say, is that they will go with the patient before the chemical. They'll go with what the patients want. It was medical freedom all the way through and through this oath. And it's like, you took this oath as a doctor and you can literally now sit there and say, I was just doing my job. No, you literally were not just doing your job, because you went against everything your job was supposed to do. And like, I actually quit, speaking of jobs, I quit my job because they wanted me, they said I didn't need to get vaccinated, but I couldn't be part of I couldn't go into the building, and I couldn't be part of any of the actual activities the business did. But as a leader, I'm supposed to attend inclusion training.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I called their hypocrisy out. I said, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. And I quit. And so my last day is next Friday. But I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, thank you so much for standing up. And I really want to be like, you don't need me. Like, I thank you for, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me, and I'm doing it for my boys so that they can see, you know what, this is what standing up looks like, even though it's a little scary and even though it's a little out there. No, this is what leaning into that looks like. And that's what we need so many more people to start doing. And I'm going to go back to your music, because that's what I think music does for people. I think it brings in that, oh, you've heard that song? I've heard that song. I like that song. Oh, did you hear it playing here? All these things. And it's this idea like, all right, so if you like that song and I like that song, we might have something in common. And so now we're going to start having those conversations that we may not have had before, because maybe you used to vote Democrat and I vote Republican. Maybe you are Black and I'm white. Maybe you work in this and I work in that. But wait a minute, we found that common ground. And now we're going to start having conversations, because if people would actually talk to one another, we'd find that 9 out of 10 times you probably agree with someone. And even if you don't, you can eventually find something you can agree on. And so we've got to, I love that we are bringing all of this music in, because we can say, you know what, not only do I like this music, enough people like it that it's at the top of a billboard chart without a label. That many people like this music too. So I'm not alone.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible. Just hearing that, and like you said, we need more people. It's cool. Like I would tell people, I'm glad to stand up. I'm glad that you're excited, but we need more than just your excitement. We need you doing it too. And that's what the truckers what they're doing up there, and Canada. They was like, okay, we each individually can do this every once in a while, or we can all do it together
Same time.
and end it, right? And it's kind of what we need to do as Americans. It's not just, one person do it and they get kicked out the restaurant, they get arrested for not wearing a mask, or they get denied a lung transport was a transplant because they're unvaccinated. Like, these are all horrendous things. It's like we all need to make the stand and just say, hey, let's put an end to it and free everybody. I don't know why. I guess because some people are just evil. I'm be real with you. Some people are completely 1,000% fine with that situation, and that's the problem. Is you would think most people would, to a point, they would be like, oh no, that's not right. But then again, you have people like Whoopi Goldberg who's saying that Holocaust wasn't about race, and it's like, how y'all, where you getting this education and where you getting this thinking from?
Dumb, but
it's like, at this point, it's like I can't help you, right? It's like there's nothing more I can do. You're just ignorant,
Yes, you choose not to look into anything. Well, I mean, it's all, especially for her, it's all just a narrative push. She's getting paid to say all that stuff now.
She's getting paid, and some people are fine with being puppets. Fine with being puppets. It's crazy because people are slowly understanding and waking up around me, to the point now they sending me stuff like, because everyone's like insurrectionists. It's like we do have the right as the people to overthrow the government if we feel like.
Better believe it.
I was like, so calling us insurrectionists when we take our grievance to the government, like even if we were to overturn it, we're not insurrectionists. We're literally patriots at that point. Like this is a right. This is not, this isn't just illegal, but it's a right to overthrow the government. And the fact that people think it's wrong shows how far we've maneuvered from our foundational principles in America. And that's what I'm hoping to get people back to. It's like, yeah, cool, police brutality, yeah. But how can you limit that and take back some of that authority? It's like, okay, maybe if you actually select the sheriffs like we do versus just have people appointed by politicians, what they do with, highway state people, then I mean, they're going to get the people that's going to protect them and look out for them. That's what they do. But when the people are able to select people that feel like that's going to look out for the best interest of them, then you get quality and higher quality people that's running your city and providing protection. And that's kind of like the idea is like, but we can't get past, some people just can't get past social media. Some people just can't get past the news, and it's frustrating, but something that we just got to keep pushing,
100%. Going back into your music and your upcoming album, if we can share more on your next project that drops on 2/22/22.
Your birthday, I believe, correct?
Correct. The best birthday of the century.
That's a beautiful date. I love that.
Yeah, I once again, God just says, here's a layup. I didn't ask to be born on February 22nd. It's my birthday. What can I say? I was like, I gotta take advantage of this. It's 2/2/2/2. It's on a Tuesday. It's just,
you're not gonna be 22 though, right?
No, I will be 31. But 3 + 1 is 4, and the quotient of that's 2.
There you go.
Numerology, I love it.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? And then my album is gonna be 8 tracks. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So it's gonna be 8 tracks.
That's fun.
And I debated whether I was gonna make it longer, right? Because I was like 8 tracks in the album. I was like, well, 7 tracks is an album according to regulations, and then, or it could be, if it's not 7 tracks, then it has to be at least 30 minutes long. So you can have 4 tracks, as long as they're 30 minutes over, it's still be considered an album. And I said I released like 3-4 songs a month anyway. So who cares if my album is only 8 songs?
Yeah.
It's not like this is gonna be all they're gonna hear for the next 2 years. It's I release stuff every month. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna put these 8 on here because I'd rather give you a solid picture, something that's gonna have that playback value and that non-skip value that we missed today. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be able to put this on and you just listen to the whole thing. And I really believe I accomplished that.
Yay.
I really truly believe I did that. You know, I have some variety of the songs that, you know, my first song is just, you know, kind of more bouncy, get you up and excited about the project, reminding you that it's my birthday type thing. And then the next song comes on, it's like, okay, let's switch gears, you know, and then we get more to that uprising, Olympus is falling, in that type of stuff. And then I even have a bilingual song on there. Why I've never did a bilingual song, and this is me speaking Hebrew and English.
Oh, cool.
You know, so I have a song on there that's going to be bilingual, which is really fun. Then we have another song that's, oh man, it's just so many goodies on there that I'm excited for you guys to hear. I just sent everything to the engineer, so I'm done recording. Everything's done. Just gotta wait for the mix and masters to come back, and then it's gonna go up for pre-order. So I'm hoping to have pre-orders up by Friday, February the 4th. And that way we can start promoting and really pushing.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to listen to it. And we are recording, for those of you who are listening, on February 2nd, 2022. And his album actually comes out on 2/22/22. And that was not planned. It was just an alignment of everything.
Happened.
I'm going to say that's God.
Uh-huh.
But going off of that, because I know we will be pushing this podcast the week that your music does come out. And if we can, and without giving too much, because this will air on the 21st and your album will release on the 22nd, but we will be airing this all week. If we can share, what is your favorite track on the album and why?
It's gonna be tough because I don't think I have a favorite per se, but there are some tracks that I'm really like excited about, and one of the tracks was "Enough Is Enough," featuring Jira and the Marine rapper. Really amazing song, and that's the one I showed a snippet of on Instagram, I believe. You know, I'm sick and tired going back and forth with the sycophants, all that stuff. That was it's like a blues gospel-ish track.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never did a blues track, so this is like my first one. And it just, man, it's just perfection to me. And then I have another song, well, y'all have heard Uprising on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's super exciting and high energy. Olympus is Falling is just gonna be one of my favorites. And I have another, like I said, the bilingual. I don't know, but
All of them.
I know this. I'm gonna say this now. I will have the best album of 2022 out of all conservative artists. It's just hands down. I don't care about Bryson, Tyson, the Marine rapper DQ, whatever. It's all love. But this album is album of the year if we had conservative artist awards, because no one is bringing the level of talent and production to the album like this is. I'm telling you guys, I found some phenomenal people, and you're going to be in for a treat.
That's awesome. And just even you saying that, I think it's amazing how you guys in your community, you lift each other up, and it's all love. And no matter what, when you're jumping on each other's tracks, you guys are leveling each other up. And even though one person is number one on the charts and someone might be number 2 or number 3, you're still pushing everyone's music and everyone's message. You don't see that in the entertainment industry, and let alone with any artist. And we often talk about on all of our podcasts is what you're doing for not only the culture, but like with your, and I'm going to say fans because people say fans, but you guys have created a family with your community, and you're reposting like straight up from, I know Becky will say the same thing. There's no artist that will reshare as many times as they do everyone's content, no matter who it is or what it is. you guys are resharing in the engagement, and nobody can touch what I'm going to say Space Force is doing when it comes to the content on all platforms. Like, you guys are owning every aspect of that. And I love to see how you're shifting that and recreating the culture.
Yeah, it's, I don't blame major artists because they're getting like the smallest piece of the pie anyway. There's so many mouths that got to be fed before they get fed. So it's kind of like a Hunger Games type environment for them.
Yeah.
But because we're independent and we get, if not the whole pie, we have more leeway to be like, here, you get a slice, right? Versus like, you get none, it's like, and that's why I love being independent. It's like, I don't have to, there's plenty to go around, my song's only 99 cents, right? It's like, instead of me getting 5 cents of the 99 cents, I get 70 cents, or however you do the splits. But there's just the idea behind it. And I always tell people there's plenty enough room for everybody to eat. And my goal is, if you share my content, I'm going to share your content. I have people that really don't share, which is cool, right? I mean, I don't expect everyone to share because you're in your own lane, but nothing's stopping you from going to buy it. Now, I might not share as much as I buy. I buy a lot more than I share, if that makes sense. I know with Bryson's album, I shared when he went #1. That was about it. I really didn't, besides retweeting some of the stuff on Twitter. But I bought his album, the physical copy, which I actually have. Hold on, before he called me a liar.
But you're doing it on all platforms. I
got the physical copy. I got the digital copy on iTunes, Amazon as well. So, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I did the same thing with the Marine rapper when he just released his album, Cold War. So I'm gonna do the same thing with Tyson James when he come out. I have no issues doing this because, once again, it goes a long way. A lot of people are like, how can we help support you? It's like, buy our stuff. It's like, you can share, you can make memes all day. That's just not going to cut the bills. And we're not asking you to donate $500 or $1,000 like some of these politicians ask on a regular basis to support this campaign that they're probably going to turn on you in the next year or two anyway. We're just like, man, spend $10 with me this month, that's it, and it goes a long way. And that's what we want people to understand. It's like, give, and it shall be given, so don't feel like, oh, I'm just gonna know it, whatever, just 99 cents. It's not just 99 cents. It's literally what's gonna keep the lights on, keep us doing this as a full-time thing. It's already tough doing it full time. And I was like, imagine if I still had to go work a full job, still be that father, still be that husband, be that uncle, and find time to find music. It's like, it would just not be what it is today. So thank you all for supporting, and everybody out there listening. I truly appreciate it, coming from independent artists. Y'all guys have helped make my dream come true. And my dream was simply this: to be able to make a living off doing music. I didn't have, like, besides the billboards and those type of things, but the main goal was, I don't have to do anything else but music. And you guys have allowed me to do that. So I'm forever grateful. And I'm going to not take that for granted. I'm going to put out great content. And so far, you guys love what we put out. We try to put out a variety of topics, variety of sounds, and thank you.
I would say too, make sure you buy the merch and everything that they put out, because again, it costs money to run that website and host all of their music and merch and everything on their websites. As you see, the entertainment industry, they're backed by powerful people and a big checkbook that doesn't come out of their pockets. These independent artists literally are investing in themselves to give us powerful content and the music. So even just talking about stream versus iTunes, can we break down what that means in the industry and the business side of it, and the importance of going to iTunes versus streaming it on Apple Music or any of those streaming sites?
Right. So most people say, especially independent artists, streams have ruined music. right? Before streams was around, you had to buy it, right? So you bought it for the wholesale price. But now we only make a fraction of a penny. And I mean that truly. For every stream, I think Spotify is paying anywhere between 0.004 to 0.007 cents.
Wow.
For every stream. Right. So, which that's not a lot, you know. So
you have to stream a very lot of music.
Very lot of, absolutely. And just to put it in perspective, to go gold, as they say, you know, it typically is just 500,000 sales, right? That's it. To go gold, you know, that's 500,000 sales for a single, you know, if it's 99 cents, whatever. But on streams, you have to have, I think, 75 billion streams. No, 75 million. Not billion.
Whatever,
sorry.
Billion, million, trillion. It's all way more than 500,000.
It's 75 million streams. You know, wow. That's a lot, and that's tough to get when we're not getting playlisted. We're not getting pushed by a lot of these platforms. So that's why we say, instead of going that route, which we can't beat because they're bought by music labels, and they're only going to really support the artists. Support us directly, like buy the song. Like you get, I tell people the equivalent of you buying my song would be you streaming. You would have to stream that song 150 times before it equals that dollar you spent. Now, I don't think I need to tell people the importance of time value. But you know, streaming a song 150 times, about 4 minutes a song, you know, 4 minutes for the length of the song, that's a lot of time, you know. Or you could take 2 minutes and go spend $1 and get the same work done, you know. So that's why we encourage people. It's really tough out here, and you know, I've thought about, you know, removing my content from Spotify just because they don't pay much, right? And I hate that, but at this point, we kind of just got to get the message out there. So I'm just hoping people choose, even if they listen to Spotify, to still go and support us directly, you know.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that, because we often don't hear the other side, and especially from independent artists, like what that truly entails. And you guys put in so much work behind all of your content and your music as well. And it is honestly mind-blowing how quick, I would say, Space Force in general and independent artists, but you guys take it to a whole nother level. Your turnaround time on music, and literally you're putting out music all the time, every week, every other week you get something new.
Yeah, it's been a job just trying to make sure we don't release the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's like, it's funny because I didn't know the Marine Rap was gonna put a whole EP. I said, bro, didn't you just release an album? Like, come on, man, like save some room.
Sleep.
So it's challenging. I want to say they keep us on our toes. And I love it because, like I said, that's just us. It's not, if you throw in Bryson and the others, and I mean, it's just a nonstop.
I love it.
You know, just shooting range at this point, man. And
I can't keep up. I haven't caught up.
It's like an album without being an album, because you can just buy all the songs, and it's enough of you that we have a whole album worth of stuff.
Yeah, it real fast.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's fun, and like I said, working with people like DQ and Timmer, man, it's just been a blessing. You know, people talk about your circle, and those guys are my square at this point. It's like not even a circle. It's just like, look, these are the blocks, the pillars. Ain't nothing happening with these fellas, man. So shout out to them, and for bringing the young cat on. I don't know if they ever told you this, but I'm gonna brag because I can. I'm the youngest. All right. I might not look it because my gray hairs.
Yeah, don't we all?
I'm the youngest out of us three, and Timmer got all the energy, so he can have that, whatever.
He doesn't have young daughters, so I'll give you that excuse.
He does.
I don't think she's that.
She's not that young like him.
Yeah, she's teenager. She's teenager.
Yeah, I mean, that'll give you gray hair in and of itself.
Yeah. My 6 and 2-year-old drive me nuts.
2-year-old,
I want to tell people, I don't know if you can see, I have it on the wall here, but this is always my inspiration. It says, "I love you, Dad." I don't know.
Aw.
Oh, I love it.
With the heart. So it's like I keep their paintings and mementos, whatever, on the wall in the studio, just to kind of, when I'm feeling tired or it's like, man, I can't finish this song or I can't come up with this lyric, and then I just look over to the left or over here and be like, I can
Got it.
find, I
love
can.
it.
Let me push another 10 minutes in to get this done. And just I want them to have something I didn't have, and to be able to provide that to me is the ultimate fulfillment, as a man, just being able to do that and do it in a godly way that, it's not dishonoring anybody, but something they could be proud of any time of the day. So yeah, it's fun.
And you even have fun with their little elf on the shelf. I know next year I'm like, I got Topher all sorts of backdrops for my elf.
That was the best thing ever. Sorry, parents, you can pause this quickly because I'm gonna say it. That was the best thing ever. When my kids were like, I don't really believe in that anymore. I was like, all right, she's gone. Back to the North Pole you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was gonna say, my wife still has the elves around randomly. She'll be like, they escaped and snuck away from the North Pole.
Watching you.
It's just like, look, man, can you just tell them what's going on so we don't have to do all this hiding and everything else going on and putting up this front? Because I just be like, just be looking sideways like, oh yeah, it's okay, all right, interesting. I was like, man, it's so much more work, and while we creating work by ourselves, I said,
because
but
it was cute the first year, the next 10 are not fun anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Just going back into more on your life and just sharing based on what you've gone through and how you deal with adversity. For anyone who is struggling with mental health or trolls or insecurity, anything that they're going through in life in general when it comes to adversity, how do you handle that in your day-to-day life?
To just recent things. So those of you, I think the last time I was on here, I had like a full beard, right? The reason why I have just the goatee going right now, is because I have alopecia. I don't know if you guys ever heard of alopecia, but it's an autoimmune disease that attacks your hair follicles. So basically, your hair falls out. There's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes it's temporary, so a lot of times it's permanent. I don't know which one it is yet, but it takes a while. So even if it's temporary, it still takes about, by the time the hair fall out, it still takes about 9 to 10 months before it even starts to grow back, right? So I've been dealing with that heavy because I really don't like my face without a beard, and that's just my own insecurity. And like I said, we all deal with different things. And one of the things that made me still step out in the camera and still do what I do is I realized people didn't fall in love with me off something such as my looks, right? I made sure people accepted me for my brains and my beliefs and what I bring to the table. Because if it's based on shallow stuff like that, then you will fall apart mentally, because now the thing that people accepted you for, they no longer, they're rejecting you for. And I never wanted that to happen. And I'm grateful that I'm in this position that I could go bald, but as long as I put out another Patriot or something else is going on, I can't walk across the stage and just, roll me across the stage. I'm still going to be me, because me is who I am on the inside, not who I appear to be on the outside. So anybody dealing with those things, know who you are and be steadfast in who you are. And the sooner you are truthful about who you are and accepting those things, the sooner you can surround yourself with people that love you for who you are. A lot of us like to put up a front, as I say, get beat, the makeup, whatever, just to put, just to look good for social media or to impress somebody else. But once you do that, that's a false expectation that you're giving that person, but also an unnecessary burden you're giving yourself. So just see what people are gonna. I was kind of nervous at first about how many friends, family, yada yada I was gonna lose by saying and speaking my mind, because I've already tested the waters and it was very hot, and it was biting like sharks and piranhas.
Yep.
And I was like, I gotta dive in it, and see what happens. Maybe these may be some tamed piranhas. Maybe they're full and they don't want to eat me anymore.
Right.
Type things like,
They've got sharp teeth, but they leave you alone.
but they leave me alone. So I eventually had to dive up in there, and they didn't bite as bad, or the bites just didn't hurt as much as I thought they would, right? And that's kind of what the mentality you got to have, because at some point, the truth or what you're trying to acquire has to be more important than the things that's trying to prevent you from getting to that destination. And once you realize that, it's over it. I don't want people. I'm not saying mental health is not important, and what people say to you it shouldn't bother you, but it does, and that's just reality. But if you know who you are in Christ, if you know what He has said about you, you are fearfully, wonderfully made. And He made you in His, like no other creature was made in the image of God. Like, He loved you so much that He gave you your own uniqueness, which is your DNA. Like nobody else is like you. If you understand these things, you're going to know that there's purpose to why you were here. And so as long as you continue to be in that, you'll get back on the right path. So that's kind of like my 2 cents. I'll send you the check in the mail.
I love it.
Oh yeah, I didn't get the joke. Never mind.
No, I said I love it. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
I would say Jesus is real, and you need to get your life right, because He's going to come back and you're going to be responsible for whether you end up in hell or heaven. And nobody can help or save you. So that's really ultimately, I do what I do to help point everybody back to the main helper, the real one, who's going to not only give you salvation on earth and bless you here, but ultimately the eternal salvation that we all searching for, in the afterlife. So that's kind of where it's at. It's like, I don't want to tell you to buy my album. I don't want to tell you to do nothing else. It's like the only reason I have your attention is probably because God allowed that to happen. It's like, look, I'm gonna elevate him to this point because I want him to say this, and I know that he's gonna be bold enough to do it. So that's what I would say. It's like, hey, just give your Lord to Christ, accept him as your Lord and Savior, and believe that God raised him from the dead, and you should have eternal life. Boom.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you again for joining our podcast, and again, giving us an opportunity to connect with you and giving us a platform as well.
No, I thank you guys for having me on. Bridget, Becky, y'all guys are amazing. I appreciate, first of all, you talk about our unwavering release of music and support for one another. You guys have been phenomenal. It's like every day I'm getting tagged by something. Every day I was like, I don't even do this much. Like, I don't even post myself as much, but you guys are finding ways to include us in everything that you're doing. And that to me is, I can't pay for that. I nothing I can do but say thank you. And whenever, so anytime y'all need me for something, you need me to come on and talk to you guys, it's always a yes. It's like, hey,
appreciate that.
Let's just schedule something. I might not could do it today, but let's schedule down the line. We'll get it done. Because you guys have been phenomenal in that area, and I don't know how many people you've touched with your promotion and what we got going on, but it could be one person. Yep. One person is all I ask for anybody. As it says. So
that one person needed to hear you that God put in the way. So
yeah, I think about this too. You don't need a lot of people. You only need one person that can help get you to where you want to be in the purpose of your life. You only need one person. You don't need 1,000. So if you can reach that one person may be the one that's writing Topher a check for $1 million next week, because you reached that one person. So that's why I don't disregard it or look down on it. I just like, thank you so much for dedicating that time.
Thank you. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate what you guys are doing, again, for sharing us, but just with the world, that us as parents have something that our kids can listen to, and that they can see that there are more than just us standing up, that there's a whole wave of people standing up and doing what's right so that their generation isn't screwed in the future.
Absolutely.
If you can share where they can find for our listeners, where they can find you on social media, and we'll make sure to as well link all of your music and everything in the show notes as well.
Absolutely. You can find me Topher Town Music on any platform. That's TOPHERTOWN Music on any platform, or you can go to my website, tophertown.com, where you can also purchase physical copies of my albums, specifically 222. It's going to be released tomorrow by the time you see this. So make sure you grab that copy, and make sure you grab the digital copy as well. I mean, a total of maybe $20 for both. I mean, but it goes a long way, guys. So please grab it. And it's incredible songs that you guys going to enjoy. So there's some Black history in there too, you know. So it's Black History Month. So go check it out and tell me what you think. You know, we're gonna get better at this, and so just be patient with us. We don't have $1 million budget for anything we do, so we got to make do with what we got and try our best to get there slowly, so we're not being controlled like some of these other major artists. But once again, thank y'all for following me on there.
Of course. And we'll make sure to link all of that in the show notes. And as we wrap up, just want to say, stop and think. What is your biggest fear that is stopping you from your dreams? What are you hiding behind? Fear, shame, insecurity. Stop hiding behind the mask. We all have a story. You are not alone. Be bold. Be you. Be your own kind of beautiful. Stand tall, speak your truth, and the world will adjust. Just be yourself. Thank you for your service, Topher, and all the vets listening, and all active duty. We appreciate you. We're sending you love and prayers to the military. Thank you to our listeners for the unconditional love and support, not only of us, but the independent artists as well, and anyone speaking the truth. Continue to share, like, and support. Thank you, Space Force, Topher, TMR, DCure, for using your platforms to give independent podcasts like us a voice to share survivor stories and anyone dealing with mental health, so others know that they're not alone. Survivors, as always, we hear you, we see you, we stand by you, sending you love, light, and blessings.
Yo, happy birthday to the homie Topher!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Topher. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Well, I can't sing like Alex, and I can't rap like the rest of you, but I'm absolutely here to wish you a wonderful happy birthday, Topher. Thank you for taking the time to be part of our podcast this week, that we can celebrate your birthday with you. Congratulations on the new album, and I hope you have an amazing year.
Hey, yo, Toph, bro, happy birthday, man. Congratulations on making it this far on Earth, and congratulations on making a wonderful masterpiece such as 22222. I think that's enough twos, right? But I just want to wish happy birthday to you. So, bro, have a good one. Enjoy the success. Enjoy the album response, all that. And we will see you later. Peace.
Hey Topher, happy birthday. Congrats on the album. Wish you nothing but success. And it's truly been an honor working with you for our podcast. Thank you for using your platform and being a voice for the voiceless. Everybody make sure to go to iTunes and let's celebrate his birthday. Go buy his new album, 222, out now on iTunes. Peace. Happy birthday.
Sick and tired going back and forth and back with some sycophants telling me relax, go put on a mask. Whenever I ask how long will it last, another summer pass, ain't making tracks with the mandates they done passed, but harass us without the vax and they bash us until we up for the task. Can't take a seat, grab a bite to eat, hold down a job in the street, cause you need valid IDs showing that your shots all done, nigga. live free with the ability to roam on your feet and head on out to make your own groceries. Can't believe store owners, deny service, close doors on us. Call police, hit the boys on us. Government has a core on us. President wish we dropped dead, but I'm kept by the Godhead. Tell the devil he don't get an op-ed by the truth, only way that I'm led.